Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, the name says it all, right? He's not just a footballer. He's a global institution, a machine built to break records, and honestly, one of the most famous people to ever walk the planet. But how did he get here? In this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers and really look at the anatomy of this legend.
Okay, so picture this. On one hand, you have the icon. We're talking over 950 career goals, 5 Ballon d'Or awards, that's for the best player on earth, and he's the first person to ever cross 1 billion followers on social media. The numbers are they're mind-blowing. But then you look at the other side of the coin. You have the kid, a boy from an impoverished home sharing a single room with his siblings, a kid who got expelled from school for throwing a chair at a teacher, and, maybe the most unbelievable part, a teenager who needed heart surgery just to have a chance to keep playing.
So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? How on earth does that kid, the one with every card stacked against him, turn into this global icon? What's the blueprint? How did he go from the edge of obscurity to the absolute peak of human achievement? All right, let's get into it. To really understand the man, we've got to go right back to the beginning. His journey to the top wasn't some straight, easy line. It was forged in fire, starting with a hurdle that could have ended everything before it even got started. So get this, at just 15 years old, Ronaldo gets diagnosed with tachycardia, basically a racing heart. Just think about that for a second. The one muscle that's everything in a sport, his heart, was betraying him. For most kids, that's it, game over, dream done, but not for Ronaldo. He had laser heart surgery, was out of the hospital in a matter of hours, and was back training just a few days later. Unbelievable. And you can see his climb right here. It wasn't some fluke. It was a methodical, step-by-step takeover. He starts at his little local club Madeira, then moves up to the bigger island club Nacional, and boom, by 12 years old, he's on trial with Sporting CP in Lisbon, one of the biggest clubs in Portugal. Every step was a step up, all driven by a talent you just couldn't ignore. And then, Manchester United came calling. When he showed up in 2003, this skinny 18-year-old kid, the expectations were just massive. But he didn't just meet them, he completely shattered them. This quote from the Manchester United legend, George Best, says everything you need to know. The original icon of that club saw this teenager and knew he was looking at something completely different.
But here's the thing, raw talent is one thing, but you need an architect to build it into something great. And for Ronaldo, that person was Sir Alex Ferguson. Ferguson wasn't just a coach, he was a mentor. He handed him the iconic number 7 shirt, which is a massive weight to carry at that club. He took this flashy winger, this show pony, and turned him into a brutally efficient goal machine. Ronaldo even calls him his father in sport, the man who taught him the relentless work ethic that would define his entire career. So if Manchester forged the phenom, Real Madrid is where he became a god of the game. This was his imperial phase, a 9-year epic where he went head-to-head with his great rival Lionel Messi in a battle for the ages. In 2009, Real Madrid broke the bank for him, paying a world record fee. 80,000 fans showed up to the stadium just to see him get introduced. The pressure was absolutely astronomical. I mean, could any player possibly live up to that kind of price tag? Live up to it? He made it look like a bargain. Just look at this number. 311 goals in only 292 games. That's not normal. It's more than a goal every single time he stepped on the pitch. Just let that sink in for a minute. And it wasn't just in the league. On the biggest stage of them all, the Champions League, the absolute pinnacle of club football, he was on another planet. In the 2013-14 season alone, he scored 17 goals in that one competition. That's a record that still stands today. He didn't just play in the big games, he owned them. Now, to really get the weight of his time in Madrid, you have to understand this one term, la décima. It means the 10th. It was Real Madrid's obsessive 12-year-long quest to win their 10th European title. It had become this huge psychological burden on the whole club, like a curse. And in 2014, who was the man to finally deliver it? Yep, Ronaldo. He cemented his place as a legend in Madrid forever. And he didn't stop there. La Décima was just the beginning. In the next 4 years, he led Real Madrid to 3 more Champions League titles, including 3 in a row, which is just unheard of. That's not a successful run, that's a dynasty. And he was the king. But here's where the story gets even bigger. Because Ronaldo's ambition was never just about what happened on the field. He understood that modern athletes are brands, and he set out to build the biggest one in the entire world, creating a legacy that goes way beyond sports. Okay, let's just try to wrap our heads around how famous this guy is. This chart says it all. With over 650 million followers, he is the most followed human being on Instagram. He has more followers than the biggest movie stars and pop icons. He's not just an athlete, he's a media empire, all by himself. And he brilliantly leveraged that fame to build the CR7 empire. We're talking fashion and fragrance lines, hotels, even a museum dedicated to himself in his hometown. All this business savvy made him the first footballer in history to earn over $1 billion in his career. $1 billion. So we've seen the journey, the triumphs, the empire, but the real question is, how? How did he actually do it? Well, it all comes down to a blueprint, a set of non-negotiable habits that are the foundation for everything.
And here it is, the secret sauce. First, obsessive practice. We hear about being first to arrive and last to leave, but for him, it's an identity. Second, fuel the machine. This isn't just about eating healthy. It's about optimizing his body like a Formula One car, 24/7. Third, a master mentality. This guy doesn't fear pressure. He seeks it out. He uses visualization to basically program his brain for success. And finally, the engine behind it all. Define your legacy. He isn't playing for next week's win. He's playing to be remembered forever, right alongside the all-time greats like Pelé and Maradona. That's the fire that never goes out. He's broken nearly every record you can think of. He's won everything there is to win, but his story leaves us with one last big question to think about. After all the records are broken and the trophies are collecting dust, what truly defines greatness? Is it just the numbers, or is it the relentless, never-ending pursuit of becoming the absolute best you can possibly be?
If you like this type of content, you can find more videos on Minds and Brands. Like and subscribe.